Hey there, good afternoon. Another day in Almaty, the largest city of Kazakhstan. Just arrived 2 days ago, staying in an apartment over there. Today is October 19th. Currently 66 degrees Fahrenheit, that is 19 degrees Celsius. A very pleasant fall day here. Really cool seeing the fall colors. Looking forward to it getting colder. I am ready for cooler weather. Let's see if people stop here, kinda sorta. So I'm going to try to get away from the noisy highway to record this video. The video that I filmed yesterday, I walked out that way, so wanted to walk a different direction today, and this might be the only video I will record today rather than a like full tour or whatever of Almaty, because I have video editing to catch up with, and that might keep me busy for the rest of today, but then I have tomorrow to show more of Almaty. After that, hopefully get out of the city and show more of the country of Kazakhstan. I haven't figured out yet how I'm going to do that. Renting a car is of course the way to go, but I haven't looked into car rentals yet. Okay, well this is looking very uninteresting, but let's just go for it and see what we find this way. At least it's a little bit quieter. So this video is going to be telling the story of what happened in Kuwait City, Kuwait, a little over a week ago. For those who might not have seen that video, then it was at the end of a video that I filmed in Kuwait City, walking down the streets there, in which at the end of that video I mentioned that I had been questioned by the police, and I left it there. The reason that I didn't say more about the incident at the time is because I didn't want to take my chances with saying the wrong thing, offending somebody, breaking a law, who knows what, because of course the countries that I've been going to, some of them have very restrictive governments, shall we say, and I don't want to take a chance at ending up in jail in a foreign country. That is why I didn't say anything about the Azerbaijan-Armenia conflict. I mentioned it, gave the general overview, but as far as like giving my opinions or whatever, that would not be smart, especially when I'm posting videos while I am inside the country, making videos that could be interpreted as insulting or criticizing the government. That would be really stupid. So I decided to just kind of mention it and then maybe tell the story later as far as the Kuwait incident, and so that is what I'm doing now. Just going to take a look at whether this might be a little more interesting area to film back in there. So I was in Kuwait City. Of course, very small Middle Eastern country, independent nation bordering Iraq and Saudi Arabia. Here we go. Got my chance. And I was telling a story in that video about something else that had happened in London when I was there before that. So I was walking down the streets and telling the story. Now I need to give a little context here to understand better what happened. So this was basically the first day that I was there. I had flown in at 5 in the morning. My sleep got all whacked out because of that. And so I woke up late and then decided to go out and just film a walking around video without having done any research yet of the city. So I didn't really know at all what anything was, other than I had let's get onto the main street there. I had found the Grand Mosque to have something to shoot for, to walk towards as I was walking along and just giving a general impression of the city of Kuwait City there. So I didn't know anything about the other important landmarks, buildings, etc. And so I head out, walking around, and then eventually I get to the Grand Mosque, and just as I am walking up to it, then I see a security guard in front of it, and I don't want to take my chances at filming where filming is not allowed, because I know that that is one of the sensitive situations. Don't film government buildings, the police, basically anything with a security guard in front of it. And I'm being especially careful in Kuwait, knowing the sensitivity. So I stopped filming, as I showed in that video, and then I walked along the Grand Mosque, and when I got to the other side, I was a ways away from the security guard, and I didn't see any other security guards around there, and so I continued filming and telling the story that I was telling them. So I crossed this roundabout, and then I am trying to get a view of the Persian-Arabian Gulf. Of course, the traditional name is the Persian Gulf, but many of the Arabian countries, maybe all of the Arabian countries, refer to it as the Arabian Gulf. But anyways, I wanted to get a view of the water. But there was this big, long building in the way, and trees and fences and stuff. So I continue telling the story as I go left, wondering if I might get to the end of the building and then find some way to get through and get over to see the bay, or the Gulf. Actually, it's Kuwait Bay, I think, and then the Persian-Arabian Gulf. So I'm, a little distracted talking to the camera, and then I get to another security checkpoint sort of a thing, no security guard there, and so I mentioned in the video I'm turning around there because I don't want to, there was like an arm, the arm thing there in a little booth, nobody in the booth, but decided to turn around there and then walk back. And so I wrapped up the story at that point, and then was looking at the building and remarked, pardon my throat, still got a little bit of the cold left, it is going away though. But I remarked, that is a fancy looking building. I wonder if it could be the Emir's palace. The Emir is basically the king of Kuwait. And so I said that, and then I said, let me check on my phone. I look on my phone, and sure enough, I am in front of the Emir's palace. So as I said, there were no security guards. I had not seen a single one after walking away from the Grand Mosque. No signs, nothing at all indicating that this was the palace of the king. Nobody else around, nobody. And so I showed my phone and was giving a little bit of history about the palace there and how it had been actually hit by a missile during the Gulf War, the first Gulf War when Iraq invaded Kuwait back in 1990-91. And then I stopped filming at that point, and that is when the questioning happened. So I walked back through that roundabout that I had been at before, back towards the Grand Mosque. I cross the street and I'm on the roundabout, and I barely even hear a whistle. Like, it was kind of so far away and so in the background that I didn't even notice, really. I don't know how many times this happened, but then there was another whistle and then another whistle, and eventually I kind of realized, okay, somebody's whistling at somebody. And so I look around and I don't see anybody. And then I keep on walking, and then I hear it again, and I look back once again and I see a security guard other side of the roundabout in front of that building. There's actually another security guard shack there. He's a ways away, but I can see that he's looking at me, and I think he was waving, something like that. And so I realized this guy is whistling at me, and I'm like, oh great, it's probably about the filming in front of the palace. Now, perhaps some people would say, well, at that point, just, you know, walk, get going, get out of there. No, do not do that. Then they're super suspicious of you, and they're gonna come after you. And there were cameras all over the place in Kuwait City. I remember walking along a wall at one point, which I think was a wall in front of a different palace in a different part of the city, and seeing cameras plainly on top of the wall pointing at the sidewalk, and I kept seeing them. And so finally I decided to continue walking, but count my steps and see how many steps it was from one camera to the next camera. It was 45 steps, and the next camera. They were like evenly placed along this wall. So they are watching you. Do not run. So I go back across the street again and walk up to the security guard. He has a phone in his hand, and he hands it to me, and I can see that there's a call in progress, and obviously he wants me to talk to his superior. And so I say hello, and kind of a gruff voice on the other end says, "Why are you filming?" And so I responded, "I'm a YouTube travel vlogger." And he says, delete. No further instructions like what to delete or whatever. And so I say, okay. And then I just hand the phone back to the other guy. The security guard is kind of a little bit timid, actually, and just kind of smiles. And I'm not sure if he really understood, because it was in English. Maybe that guy didn't speak English, but probably he got the general idea. But because he must have told somebody that I was filming, so that was the issue, I'm sure. And so I just hand the phone back to the other guy, and I turn my camera on, the one I'm filming with right here, and turn it around and start doing like this. Now, keep in mind, I had just filmed various clips telling this story for the video that I'd been filming, and really didn't want to delete that footage. Now, I am not going to say whether I did or did not delete any footage, just to keep it a little vague there, but you can decide based on if you saw that video. I will post it in the description down below if you want to see that one. So the story that I was telling in that video walking down the streets of Kuwait was about the incident in London in which somebody had tried to cut my lock. So we have like 3 different locations here, filming in Kazakhstan, talking about a video I filmed in Kuwait in which I was telling a story about London. But the guy asked me to delete footage. Not clear, what does that mean? Just the footage of the palace or everything or who knows what, but I went like this on my camera and then just said bye to the security guard and walked away, and that was it. That was the whole encounter. So no, you know, interrogation or whatever. But even though it was quick and relatively easy, it still left me rattled because it just kind of emphasized the fact that they are watching you and you don't know exactly what you might do or say that could offend, be taken the wrong way, result in maybe a more intensive questioning or whatever. So as a result of this, as well as something else, I was left a little paranoid about being in Kuwait and especially leaving, and whether I might get questioned upon leaving. So the other thing that I came across that made me a little more paranoid was I watched another video from some other travelers about Kuwait City in order to get some ideas of some more places to visit. That is what I would really love to see here in Kazakhstan. Maybe not the snow necessarily, but at least the mountains and lakes, something like that. So we'll see what I can find. No idea where that might be, but I assume it must be in Kazakhstan. Wow, that is a strange looking statue. I need to look for that online and see if it's anywhere around here. Kazakhstan is the 9th largest country in the world. It is huge, so I'm not going to be traveling all over, just somewhere nearby if I get the rental car. I mean, I could drive a few hours, of course, but that isn't going to cover much of the country. But that also looks really interesting. So these other travelers said that when they arrived in Kuwait at the airport and were trying to go through customs and immigration, then they were pulled aside, taken into a room, all of their belongings taken out of their luggage and spread all over the place, and then I guess questioned what they were doing there and whatnot, and then they were allowed to go free and enter the country and then made their video. But this was another reminder that it's a restrictive country and you never know when you might cross the line, make somebody suspicious about you or whatever. And so that, combined with the getting questioned myself, left me wondering if, for one thing, I should post any videos at all while I was still in the country. I held off for a day, even though I had the first video done, just kind of thinking about it. So I had split that video into 2 different videos. The one in which I am basically talking about Kuwait and giving first impressions, and then telling the story about what happened in London. So I decided to make that a separate video, and that was when I ended up in front of the palace. So I decided that the first video was more tame, safer to post, because I wasn't showing the footage in front of the palace. So I decided to go ahead and post that one the day before I was leaving, and then hold off on the other one. And so when it came to my day of flying out, then I went to the airport like just kind of a little stressed out. Am I going to get pulled aside when I try to leave? Maybe they saw that video and there could have been something that they didn't like in it, or just because being a travel vlogger, they could have been suspicious. Am I trying to report on something or whatever? Fortunately, all went smooth, leaving customs, no questions at all. And so I get into the international part of the airport, and at that point I decided to go ahead and post part number 2 there, figuring, you know, I'm clear here. There isn't enough time, even if there was a problem with that video, for them to like get me in the airport or whatever. And sure enough, I caught the flight. All was good. But, you know, it was stressful. And so when I went to Azerbaijan, same thing, also a very tightly controlled country. I didn't want to take any sort of a chance of saying the wrong thing, sticking my nose into their political business that could result in any problems. I have been to Armenia. Armenians are very lovely people. It's sad that they were forced out of their homes where they had lived for generations. I don't know the history. I don't understand why that region of the Republic of Artsakh, or Nagorno-Karabakh, was considered to be Azerbaijani territory, even though it was mostly Armenians living there, and not just by Azerbaijan, but by the international community. The UN apparently considered that to be Azerbaijan territory. So I don't really know why that was the case. I haven't looked into that. I haven't been there. So I didn't have much to offer in discussing the issue anyways, but I do think that it is very sad that a lot of people who had lived there for their entire lives were forced to leave their homes, and they went into Armenia. At the moment then, it is basically over. I think that there are still some Armenians there, the holdouts, but most have left, and it is going to become just part of Azerbaijan. The people there will be Azerbaijani citizens and have Azerbaijan passports, and obviously they're going to make an effort of, you know, moving Azeris in there and make it fully Azeri, part of Azerbaijan. So anyways, there you go. I'm going to get back to my room and get to work, and most likely tomorrow then I will film another video showing more of Almaty. The problem is this city is so freaking spread out. It's 2 million people, but for being 2 million people, it's really massive. There's just a lot of distance between everything. So I don't know how I'm going to deal with that. I think that there is a metro. Check out the metro, maybe take some buses, who knows. We shall see. All right, that's it for now. Lots more coming from Kazakhstan in Central Asia. See ya.